Hey everybody, it's Susan. Welcome back to my channel, Susan's Life with ALS. I know I've been gone for a while. For a couple of weeks, I really wasn't feeling very well. Didn't really have anything to talk about. Started feeling better, and we took a trip to New York City that we had planned, and so this video I thought I'd talk about how it is to travel with ALS. Okay, kitty, this is one of my little cats. If I can show her face, she's really cute. This is Clementine. Anyway, all right, so put her down. I'll start with let's see, the airport. Okay, so check-in was okay, and at airports I bring a walker with me, and because airports are big places. And what is so nice about bringing a walker is once you get up, down you can take it clear to the airplane, and then it's tagged for the baggage handlers so I could pick it up at the gate, and so you take it right down to the airplane. And for this trip, we sat in first class because it's a 5-hour plane ride, and both my husband and I wanted kind of space to spread out in case we wanted to take a nap or just have more leg room and such. And we were really glad we did that. Anyway, so I'll take you back to before you go through security. Now, I brought my Radicava with me, and my port was accessed. And so I had to bring medication with me. In the United States, when you fly in the United States, you don't need a note from your doctor. You tell the TSA agents that you have IV medication with you and all the supplies. And of course, an IV bag is liquid, and Radicava in and of itself can't be exposed to sunlight, and it has to remain in the box until you're ready to use it. And it can't get wet, but it can be x-rayed. So first it gets sent through the conveyor belt, and then they pull it off to the side. Then they open up your bag and have a look at it and run some sort of bomb thing, scan over it, and then you pack it back up and you're on your way. So that you take it as a carry-on bag, and I brought just a little, probably something about this big, and it fit my supplies and all my medicine and everything really nice. And then I did my 3 doses then on the trip, and I'll get into that in a minute here. But being that I used up all my supplies then while I was there, then I had an extra bag to bring home stuff, souvenirs and things that weren't going to fit in my suitcase. Okay, so that covers TSA and the airplane. So then when you get off the plane at your destination, we flew into JFK. They have my walker waiting for me right when I walk out of the plane, and right there at the beginning of the gangplank thing, and so you have it. So it's really convenient. And oh, the other thing I wanted to say about bringing a walker, you get on the airplane first. So that helps a lot too, you know, with getting yourself settled, and then having a ton of overhead bin space and everything. So that's really nice. One good thing. All right, so New York City, I've been there. This would be my, let's see, over the years, 6th time I've been there. 3rd time we've stayed at this particular hotel. And it's a Hyatt right by Grand Central Station, and it's smack dab in Midtown Manhattan. So you have, from there you have Broadway is one way, and the Statue of Liberty would be the other way, and Wall Street and everything, and you're right in the middle, so it's very convenient. And instead of riding the subway this time, we rode taxis the whole time, because I would either have my cane and my leg brace, and I just wouldn't be able to make it up and down the stairs in the subway. Disappointing, because I do really like the subway. And so New York City is very, it almost has a buzz to it, where it's really crowded and it's noisy, and there's a ton of people, and you can tell the locals because they're walking as fast as they can, and they're talking on their telephone and not paying attention to where they're going, and just everybody cuts each other off and grabs your taxi, and it's mayhem. And oh, what was the other thing I was going to say? Oh yeah, taxi rides, scary to say the least. They come within about that close to each other, and no wrecks, and they just drive like that, and it's like almost like a scary Disneyland ride. It was really, really interesting. Okay, so restaurants and such, very easy to access, plenty of room, you know, make a reservation, you don't have to wait, really easy. And we didn't do any shopping, but New York, especially Midtown, 5th Avenue, right in there, it has plenty of high-end, mid-end stores that anybody could want and shop at. We didn't particularly need anything. We were there mostly for entertainment. So one of the places that we ate is a place called Junior's, and Junior's is famous for cheesecake, and their location is in Times Square, and then they have another location that is just a few blocks away, and it's absolutely set up the same. It's a New York institution, and I always get the same thing when I go there: a bowl of matzo ball soup, a tuna melt, and a piece of cheesecake, and it's just, oh, it's so good, and I just look forward to it every time we go to New York. Let's see, we ate at an Italian restaurant called Becco, I think it was called, and that was really good. Kind of a little bit of a touristy place, but the food was really good. Reservation, of course, for that. Pretty much all the restaurants are just really narrow, I guess is what I want to say. Okay, so then the other thing we did, my cat is just absolutely going crazy here. The other thing we did was theater, and we saw at the town hall Gordon Lightfoot, and he is 80 years old, and he is all of 80 years old. He is a Canadian national treasure and has written some beautiful, beautiful songs. But, you know, he's losing his voice, and but he was trying as hard as he could, and that's Gordon Lightfoot. All right, so then one night we saw, let's see, Hamilton at the Richard Rogers Theater. And the seats that we had were in a box, you know, those kind that are on the side of the, you know, stage, and then kind of a balcony sort of to yourself. And so we had all 3 seats that were in that box, and we thought that my husband's daughter was going to come with us, but she couldn't. So we had the whole box to ourselves, and that was nice because then I had worn my brace to get there for walking, the one that fits inside my shoe, and I'll show that on my channel here sometime. And to get up to the box where our seats were, was this narrow staircase, really tight to get up. Now, luckily, it had railings on both sides, so I was able to make it up to the box. So when we got up there, being that we were by ourselves, I took my shoe off and my brace off so that I could be comfortable through the 2.5 hours of Hamilton. And all right, so now this play, I think everybody's probably heard of it. It is in a format of rapping, or I don't know what you call it, and it's long enough to need an intermission. During the intermission, my husband said, "Oh, I need subtitles." You kind of had to get yourself into the rhythm of what they were doing. So then the second act, we had finally gotten our sea legs, you know, with the play, and you know, understood and really enjoyed the second half, probably more, and decided it was just a really, really excellent play. So that was really worth seeing. And then another night we went to, let's see, the Schubert Theater, and we saw, see if you can see that better, To Kill a Mockingbird. And everybody knows that story as well. And this one had Jeff Daniels in it, and actually all the actors in this were really good, and I really liked how they told the whole story, but kind of did it in their, they rearranged it a little bit, and the way they did the set design, or the set pieces, the actors would just move them around, and it just seemed like part of the play. And the seats we had on for this were on the second level. Yeah, there's 3 levels in the Schubert Theater. We were on the 2nd level. And that was 2 very wide flights of stairs, a whole bunch of them, and then 1 rail on the side. And so going upstairs for me is a little bit harder than going down the stairs. So I just took my time. We got there within plenty of time. I had my foot brace on, I had my folding cane, and I just slowly walked up the stairs. People just whizzing by me, of course, you know, but just took my time. And then on the way out, we waited until the crowd kind of thinned out a little bit, and then I sort of had the staircase then going down to myself, basically, and of course had my foot brace on, or, you know, my shoe brace and my cane. So that went fine. Now, let's see. Anywhere you are, basically in New York City, you can get a taxi. And so I really had minimum walking, probably at the most 2 or 3 blocks at a time, not very much. And I was able to do that. Never used my walker once in the city. I didn't really feel like I needed it. I would have my shoe brace, my folding cane, and if it seemed like a really treacherous area, like with a lot of people whizzing by, my husband would get on my left side and I link arms with him, and then that steadies me, and then I can get around really well. All right, so then on the way home, TSA, you know, JFK is about traffic and everything, I'm going to say about half hour, 45 minutes from Midtown Manhattan. And so we got there and checked in and went through TSA at JFK. Now in Seattle, TSA, and we have TSA pre-check, I don't have to take my shoes off. But in New York, their security apparently is more enhanced, I don't know. And I beeped when I went through the metal detector, and so I had to take my shoes off, and I had my foot brace on. It's just a big hassle. And naturally, on the before you go through their security measures, there's no place to sit to take your shoes off. And so one of the TSA officers had to bring me a chair, and it was a woman that was so rude, and I just kind of looked at her, and she throws the chair down, and there you go, and oh, okay. So I took my shoes off and then sent them through the conveyor belt, and then on the other, of course, then I passed, and on the other side, then once you're through TSA, there's benches and stuff, you know, benches and places for you to sit down and put yourself back together. So that was interesting. And okay, so that was, and then the trip home was pretty much uneventful. We had turbulence the entire 5 hours, the whole time, the entire time. All the way up to landing, we had turbulence. It was just, you just kind of got used to it. I don't know, you know, it just, tried to ignore it, you know. So then we got home about, let's see, about 2 p.m. yesterday, and of course we were just exhausted, but we had a really good time. We did see my husband's daughter, and she is graduating from college next week, and so we were happy to see her. And all in all, it was a big trip. Big airports and big trip, and we made it, and that'll probably be our last trip to New York City, but we had a really good time. So that is, in a nutshell, ALS and New York City. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye-bye.